And we are live. I think. Kia ora everyone, it's Zach here from Hakatime Rugby. Hope everyone's doing well. It's the first of the test matches for the historic Irish tour, so hope everyone's excited for the game and ready for what should be a really, really good game. Packed out Eden Park, so it's going to be a huge contest. Obviously hard to beat the All Blacks at Eden Park. We know the record there. We know how good they've been over the years at Eden Park, and it's just going to be interesting to see how the All Blacks approach this game, given obviously the challenges late last year and some of the games that we dropped, unfortunately, towards the back end of the year. So, but that being said, there are no excuses, right? So, and I'm pretty sure that Foster has been drilling that into the team. No excuses. You got to put up in games like this. You're at home. Ireland's coming off the end of a long season. All Blacks are fresh after just completing Super Rugby. There's no excuses in this game. So, and we know what a wounded All Blacks is like. It can be dangerous for any team that's fronting up with them. But that being said, Ireland is a very good, very well-drilled team. So this should be interesting. I think it's going to be... It could go a number of different ways. Are Ireland good enough to beat the All Blacks? Well, we've seen it a number of times already, right? So the answer to that is yes. Are they good enough to beat them at home? Fresh at the start of a season, after coming off a long season themselves, it's difficult to win in New Zealand. I don't know about that. That's going to be the interesting question. But come on in, guys. Settle in. I think we are roughly 15 minutes away from kickoff, so the chat is live. I'd love to hear from you guys. Feel free to, throw any comments, any questions during the chat. I'll be monitoring that regularly, and let's just discuss rugby as we see it. I'll be commentating what I see during the game, both for those who can't currently watch right now, but also just to give some of the insights that I see as the game is progressing and as teams are sort of settling into their work. We are roughly 15 minutes away, so what I might just do is jump over to a few pre-game activities. The chat box will be live here throughout the game, and I'll be maintaining the score here as well. So you'll be able to stop in at any stage and just sort of see where the game is at, who's on top. And you can also use that just to track, if you do come back to the stream, just to track where we are in terms of the game progress based on the score at the top left corner. So I'm going to keep that one live, keep that one updated. What else? Yeah, as I mentioned, feel free to jump in the chat, guys, and just let me know what you think of the game, any questions, and I'll get to reading out chats as well as comments as well as questions and answering those along the way. But before we kick things off on the All Blacks, I managed to catch this game, the Pacific Nations Cup game between Fiji and Tonga. And for those who were not aware, or maybe you were aware, obviously there were a number of former All Blacks and, quite a notable former Wallaby playing for Tonga. So Israel Folau back playing for Tonga. We had Charles Piatel, former All Black, playing for Tonga as well. We had Fekitoa as well, playing for Tonga. And there was also someone else playing. Name escapes me. But, a number of former All Blacks there back playing for Tonga and Fiji. And I think, given that they've changed the rules recently to eligibility, I think it's really favoured, obviously, these teams and having good, strong names back. And as a result of this, they had one of the biggest crowds they've had in Fiji for some time. It was 15,000 odd people, I think, packed out Fiji Stadium, and people excited to see rugby and excited to see those names that were in there. So I think finally a little bit of, common sense from World Rugby, allowing those players to play. And they put on a show, particularly Fiji, right? So, I was watching the game and just thought, they just look bigger, stronger, well-drilled. A number of players coming back from Northern Hemisphere, so you could start to see that influence from Northern Hemisphere rugby on them as well. And just a great victory by Fiji. There's a number of tries might be worth going back and watching, actually, for those that are interested. They scored some outstanding tries. And we know Fiji are capable of that. We know all of the teams in the islands are very capable of that. So, the Pacific Nations Cup, it's on right now. If you're looking for more rugby, I'd highly recommend you check that out. Now, let's get to the preview of the game. Okay. We need to jump over to the squads. Here we go. So you may or may not have caught my pre-game build-up or preview of the match, and I went through the squads and where I thought the major areas of the contest would play out. So first thing, if we look at the front rowers, George Bower, Cody Taylor, Ofa Tuangafasi. Now, the one good thing about... Obviously, there's a lot of experience there with Cody Taylor and Ofa Tuangafasi. George Bower, a little bit less so, but he's had a strong season for the Crusaders. That Crusaders scrum as well has been very strong, in particular in the final there. Obviously, they managed to get over the top of the Blues. On the other side, Ofa Tuangafasi, he had a great start to the Super Rugby season, but unfortunately dropped off a little bit at the sort of towards the end. And, he was soundly sort of dominated in the scrum in that last game against in the Super Rugby final. So, I don't know if it's a lapse in form, if it's sort of what else is going on, but that's a real concern because on the other side for the Irish, there are some world-class scrummagers. Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, so Ronan Callagher unavailable for this tour, so Dan Sheehan steps in, and Tyg Furlong. Tyg Furlong, we know, British and Irish Lions, been around a long time. He was one of the 4 or 5 players that were part of the last tour of New Zealand. Huge amount of experience and great scrummager, right? So if Ofa Tuangafasi or any of the front rowers are off their game, this Irish pack will dominate. And they definitely have the advantage here in terms of the front rows and in terms of the scrum and the platform that they'll be setting from the scrum. So that's something to keep an eye out on. We know Cody Taylor is great with ball in hand, Ofa Tuangafasi quite mobile, and George Bower as well, actually. So I'd give the All Blacks the edge in terms of mobility with the ball in hand and around the general track. But, set piece, scrum time, Ireland has the advantage there. Going to the next, so again, Brodie Retallick, Sam Whitelock, very experienced. We know how good they are. Question marks around whether or not, they're starting to show their age. Sam Whitelock certainly didn't look like it, and Brodie Retallick didn't. But towards the end of last year, Sam Whitelock in particular just started to look a bit, these guys are starting to show their age a little bit, and there's some great young players still in the All Black squad. I wonder if it's time to start experimenting with more of them starting for the top team. But this looks like Foster has gone with a really safe selection here in Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock. You know what you're going to get with them. On the other side, Tyg Byrne, James Ryan. So a lot of talk made by the Irish fans on preferring to have Henderson there. Brings a bit more physicality, but Tyg Byrne's a big dude. So, and James Ryan has been, touted as a top-level prospect for a long, long time and is one of the best locks running around right now. So it's going to be an interesting battle. As I mentioned, you've got the experience of Retallick and Whitelock on the one side versus the, just solid, physical, great in the line-out work from Tyg Byrne and James Ryan on the other side. Where it will be highly competitive, the breakdown, and all the talk in the lead-up to this match has been about physicality in general, but, the breakdown's a big part of that. The way Ireland have dominated in recent years has been to dominate the breakdown. Good, quick, ruck speed, recycling of ball, dominating the collision, winning the ball back. So this is going to be a high level contest at the breakdown. On the Irish side, Caelan Doris, he impressed me very early on, and now, I see him as right up there in terms of, athletic number 8s, loose forwards in general, going around. And we know Ardie Savea, right? So I'm looking forward to that clash in particular. Ardie Savea versus Caelan Doris is going to be worth the price of admission alone. Then probably, a lot being made about Sam Cane as captain. It is what it is. There he is. Let's just say he might bring some good defensive work, which, in fairness, the All Blacks did struggle with defense in and around the ruck against Ireland and France late last year. So at the least, let's hope that he can sort of tighten up those areas defensively and ensure that Ireland, if they do get a roll on, that we're able to stop them in those areas. And then probably the most I won't say controversial, but certainly the most talked about this week has been Scott Barrett for the All Blacks. The last time he played six, blindside flanker, was at the Rugby World Cup. It's an interesting one because Hansen in his book says that he got that call wrong, Scott Barrett being there. He would have preferred to sit Whitelock and play Barrett at lock. Didn't work out that day. But, Scott Barrett is a lot more experienced now, captain of the Crusaders, knows what he's doing. I just feel like it's a different Scott Barrett, so we might get a different, better result here. They are looking for physicality, so he can bring that, and they're also looking for those line-out options. So between Retallick, Whitelock, and Barrett, you've got some fantastic line-out options, so that should go well. Peter O'Mahony comes in. A lot of people preferred Jack Conan being part of the squad. Spoken to another number of Irish fans who thought he was slightly off the pace, Conan. So O'Mahony comes in. He's a very experienced guy, and I think everyone knows what they're going to get with him. They're going to get physicality at the breakdown, and they're going to get him ripping in defence. So solid both sides. Who do I probably give the Irish the slight edge at the breakdown, just because they've proven they can get the better of us there. And we're yet to show that we can, muscle up and challenge them there at the last few games. They've just constantly had this roll on, and recycle ball really quickly and hit the bullet line. They're extremely well drilled. So I just think the breakdown, I give Ireland in favour. But this is a solid All Blacks back row. Now to the 9-10 axis. Aaron Smith, Bowden, Barrett, so a lot of people wanted to see Mo'unga there, myself included. I thought the Super Rugby final was a pretty clear-cut trial. Now, you can probably extend that to say, front foot ball for Mo'unga, back foot ball for Barrett, so much harder for Barrett to operate. But I just saw exactly what I wanted to see from Richie Mo'unga, and that is game management, kicking to corners. That's how you play Northern Hemisphere teams, right? Is that you need to dominate territory, because that's exactly what they look to do. They look to put us under pressure inside our own territory, dominate with ball in hand, put us under pressure to the point where we either make mistakes or let in tries. So I would have preferred the game management of Mo'unga, but let's see what Barrett can do. He's had a great season for the Blues and with front foot ball. Jameson, Gibson Park, and Johnny Sexton for the Irish. Gibson Park has, that combination in particular with Sexton, has become outstanding. Gibson Park's got a quick ball, great decision making, pairs up well with Johnny Sexton, so gives him that a little bit of additional time to make decisions. So in this axis, you have to probably go with Smith and Barrett, given their experience, but we know how good Jameson, Gibson Park, and Johnny Sexton are. To the back line, so probably where the biggest question marks have been for some time with the All Blacks have been in inside centre, outside centre, 12-13. Henshaw and Ringrose have been around a while. Quintu Paia has been around a few years, obviously, and had a really good season this year. But we know what we're going to get with him, crash ball, right? Crash ball, great defence. So if the game plan is to dominate the game line, which a lot of people are saying it is, Foster included, then he is a good option to help you get over the game line. It probably doesn't give you as much in distribution and in game management as a Havili does, but he'll get over the game line, or at least challenge the game line, which is great. Big, strong Leicester Fainga'anuku gets a start in the famous number 11 jersey, so great to see him finally get a crack. We've been calling for him for the last couple of years. Sevu Reece I've seen is a lot improved, had a great season this year as well. Geordie Barrett at the back, we know how good he is. On the other side, James Lowe. Keith Earls backs up from the Māori game, so that's a interesting selection. That actually calls into question why they selected 40 players and didn't extend the squad slightly further. Because if you're going to start having players back up like that, it's a hard graft up against Leicester Fainga'anuku on debut, who has a size advantage, weight advantage, youth advantage. I think Fainga'anuku is going to have a field day today, to be honest, particularly in the later stages, mid to later stages of the game. And then Hugo Keenan at the back. Now, to the bench, what's notable here for Ireland is all of these players are backing up from the Māori game, okay, which again highlights the squad depth, or at least the number of players that they chose to bring on tour. They probably should have looked at bringing a few more to make sure they had the right coverage. On the other side for the All Blacks, I like the makeup purely if you look at Toke Aho, Angus Ta'avao, Peter Gus Sawakula. There's a good sort of alignment of Chiefs players with that bring real excitement, right? So we know Toke Aho, I actually think he's the best hooker in the country right now. I'd love to see him start during this, set of internationals that are coming up to give him a crack to see if he's ready to take that next step up. Angus Ta'avao is mobile with ball in hand, and Peter Gus Sawakula, we know, is just a wrecking ball with the ball in hand. So, rolling on those Chiefs subs who know how to play with each other, Brodie Retallick's on there as well, and watching what they can do with ball in hand, I think is going to be quite exciting. On the other side, Heffernan, Bielim, Healy. Healy's the big surprise there. He went down like a lump of coal in the game against the Māori. We thought he was gone for all money, but there he is. I haven't heard any updates if this squad is still current. Looks like the Hucker's about to go down, so that's getting started. But, he just looked like he was gone. And then Dalton Papali'i for the All Blacks, Finlay Christie Moanga, Braden Enor brought in as cover for Havili, who obviously went down. On the other side, Jack Conan will get a run. Experienced guy, Connor Murray, Joey Carberry. There's been a lot of talk about him replacing Johnny Sexton recently. Obviously, Sexton is there starting. They wanted to go with the experience. And then Bundyaki, who captained the Irish against the Māori, is there as well. So those are the squads. I give the bench advantage to the All Blacks. I give game management to Ireland. I just think that they play a very specific style to manage the game. And, Beauden Barrett was slightly or a lot outplayed by Moanga, I thought, in the last game. And there's a lot less kicking options in this lineup for the All Blacks. So game management I give to Ireland. Breakdown I give to Ireland. Line out I give to the All Blacks, given Scott Barrett is playing here at blindside. The scrum I give to Ireland. General mobility, both front row and the rest of the team, I give to All Blacks, X Factor All Blacks. And then obviously, if we compare the coaches head to head, or if you want to do it just based on their playing style, I give the advantage to Ireland, right? Because anytime they play, and you saw this in glimpses against the Māori, they are just extremely well drilled. When they keep the ball in hand, they break the line very often. They did it to us in November. They did it to the Māori when they kept the ball in hand without errors and turnovers. And they're just extremely well drilled. Everyone knows how to play, how they play, what their role is. Whereas the All Blacks are still figuring it out with selections like Scott Barrett at blindside. We don't know who... If you look at the All Black squad, we actually don't know for many of these positions who our best team is. And that you conversely, you translate that to Ireland, they know exactly who their best team is. So I give the advantage from a coaching perspective, certainly to Ireland. Game's about to get started now, guys. I'll give my final prediction. The Māori showed how difficult it is to win in New Zealand. So even though I give a lot of advantages to Ireland, the fact that it's at Eden Park, packed house, a wounded All Blacks, wanting to get revenge after late November and the last couple of years' results, really, I say the All Blacks are going to win and win quite comfortably. If I was to put a number on it, I'd say All Blacks win by 15. And that's just purely based on, emotion and the way, as I mentioned, there's a lot of advantages here to Ireland when I go through those teams. So, I would not be surprised if there's an upset, but right now I give the edge to the All Blacks in a significant way, and I think they will win and win quite comfortably at home. It's very difficult to beat a wounded All Blacks, and that's exactly what you have on display right now. The All Blacks are wounded. So, kickoff has been made. It looks like knock on by the All Blacks, so it's an Ireland scrum, which is good. We get the first scrum now. I think you need to be subscribed to chat, guys. So go ahead and subscribe and feel free to chat. I'll read comments. I will answer questions. And just tell me what you think as the game is progressing as well. Jimmy the Saint says the nerves are killing him. Let's go. Well, it's game on. First scrum. The nerves are killing me on this first scrum, to be honest. So you can see the pack weights here. New Zealand 926 kgs. Ireland 895. I think having Scott Barrett on the blind side certainly bolsters that. George Bauer pops up Tyke Furlong there, so that's a good start from him. I mean, largely uneventful. Ireland recycled the ball back. Gibson Park kicks it down. But it was just interesting to see Bauer get one slightly over Tyke Furlong there. Now it's ping pong, as in it's a kicking duel, and Beauden Barrett kicks it back. Fine. Space, that's a good kick. Sever Reese with a good chase. Little miss. And Johnny Sexton clears the ball. But that's definite advantage to the All Blacks. Beauden Barrett now runs it over halfway. Gets it to Geordie, who just runs straight into the defense. Nothing on there. All Blacks attacking inside the 40. Rieko Ioane making 20 meters. This is looking ominous from the Blacks. Now attacking through midfield in the forwards. Around about the 22. So making great progress here. Ireland committing quite a few players to the ruck, which is interesting. Geordie puts a kick through for Sever Reese. Ball goes out over the touchline. So, the start of this, so far what has been interesting is the first scrum. It was still a solid base, obviously, for the Irish. They got the ball back and managed to kick it, clear it. But, you know, it did look like Bauer slightly got the edge on Tyke Furlong there. So, the All Blacks will be very happy if they can start getting advantage at scrum time, because the Irish are definitely the better of the two scrummaging units, I think. Why is all you pundits delayed? LB, the reason is that YouTube, as part of live streams, adds a 30-second delay to all streams. So all you've got to do is press pause for 30 seconds. And then you'll be on the same, exactly the same as what I'm seeing. Or close to. Now we have a player down at the moment. Ta'aval is warming up. So it looks like Ofa Tungafasi trying to shake it off. Be a massive blow for him to go early, especially with the scrum concerns. Looks like he's shaking it off. So that's good. Good support from the Irish, actually, in the crowd. That's good. They're just panning through. Apparently, a lot of Irish fans that had flown down had lost their luggage, actually. There seem to be... Well, there's issues with flights all over the place. For those that are travelling, you'll know. But Ireland win the line out inside their own 22, 10, 20 metres out from their own line. Good dominant tackle there from the All Blacks. Ireland try to clear the ball. James Lowe has a big boot and makes good clearance there. Doesn't find touch. Sever Reese has a run. Runs into his own man. And they call that a... Okay, so it was a lost ball. Man in front. Penalty Ireland. So Ireland get to relieve some pressure and get out of their own territory, which will be great for them. So what's been good about this so far, if you're an Irish fan, is they've been able to weather the very early storm at least and get out of their own territory and now into the All Blacks territory. So they'll be happy with that. For those that are following along, I'm at 3 minutes 35 at the moment. 3 minutes 40. Apparently, was it Alan Quinlan, just on your comment there, LB? He had to borrow clothes from Paul O'Connell, who's a lot bigger, I think a lot bigger than him. So, you know, he had shoes that were 2 sizes too big and jackets that were too big for him. But, you know, at least he got to make it in and, you know, join the press conferences. So Ireland now attacking on the All Blacks 22. Ofa Tungafasi slips there. He's not right, that's for sure. George Bauer, dominant tackle, good work. Ireland popped the inside ball, looking slick as usual, as we expected. The All Blacks are ripping in, but the Irish are just extremely well drilled. They just cycle through the ball really quickly. Everyone knows where to stand. You've got the pod set up very quickly. Ball distribution great. And they're just, every run here, couple of meters, just really attacking the line. They're now 5 meters out. And hot on attack. And to be honest, they look likely to break here, to break the All Blacks. So it's going to test the defense. So All Blacks still defending on their own line. They're 1-2 meters out. Now Ireland's using the forwards. See, what they love to do is just recycle that ball through. Gibson Parks is right there. Their players are right there waiting. All Blacks sluggish in defence here. Slow to get up and back in the line. Whereas Ireland just looks... Oh, he almost broke the tackle there. They're going very close very often here. And they got the penalty. Johnny Sexton now goes with the inside ball. Defense is good. Keith Earls is in for the first try. So, I've been questioning him most of the week. You know, just in terms of backing up and how he'd go after the Māori game. But there he is, first try. Good setup from the Irish. One thing they do extremely well, which we are seeing on full display right now, is recycle the ball quickly. The All Blacks have to look to disrupt the breakdown. If you don't disrupt the breakdown, you're not going to stop this wave after wave of Irish attack. And in the end, it was just a one-on-one. LB says, if they don't score there, it was terrible attack. AB's looked down on their feet. Yeah, it was noticeable. I mean, there was one there where, you know, the forwards took time to get back up and back into the line. They were just sort of sluggish already. And I think that's more to do with the Irish recycling speed at the breakdown than it is to do with the All Blacks looking tired. But they need to show a bit more urgency to get back up and into the defensive line for sure. But that's exactly the start Ireland would have wanted. You quiet down the crowd. You calm the nerves. You're first on the board. Well done. Good start. And Sexton puts the kick up, misses the first kick. Look, All Blacks had their opportunities as well there. They had the first 5-6 minutes was all Blacks attacking in the Irish zone. They couldn't break them. They gave away a relieving penalty, which Ireland took to full advantage now. Scored the first try. So, advantage Ireland. It's 5-0. Let me update the score. Good stuff to Ireland. Sicky Irish Usos. All right, All Blacks got the ball back now, attacking in the Irish half. Around about the 40-metre line. So one thing that's good about the Irish structure, I guess, if you look at just the way they play, obviously a large number of them are from Leinster. They play the same style at Leinster with the same combinations that they do at the top level. The All Blacks come in, unsure who the top team is, with Foster, who, you know, largely uninspiring coach, let's say, is probably the polite way to do it. And players that maybe don't have the best combinations together, or certainly don't have the same. They don't have the same regularity of play together to build those combinations. So I like the way the Irish do it, and I just wish the All Blacks would focus a little bit more on combinations as well. Now, there was some disruption, obviously, with COVID this week. That's no excuse at all. But I would have liked to have seen Mo'unga Havili in the squad versus Barrett and Tupaia. And maybe that would have been the plan. We don't know. Yeah, Manu Samoa winning against... There was also another game today. I saw that Japan was ahead against France as well. Oh no, France is now ahead. So they must have won the game, but it was It's 13-10 when I saw it in favour of Japan. Sam Cane on his back looks in a bit of trouble. AB's playing a box style of kicking game at the moment. True. I think they're trying to play smarter, but so far the kicks haven't been great. They haven't been in space. Yeah, we knew France wouldn't send their top team, but it was just interesting to see Japan were ahead at that stage. Māori All Blacks Type 5 better than the All Blacks Type 5. Yeah, the issue with Foster is he doesn't even know who his best team is. Right? So there's been a lot of talk about who would play 6, and now we got Scott Barrett. Wish him luck, but if you look through most of these positions, there's probably only 5 or 6 players that you would say, yeah, that is the best in his position. A lot of the others, there are big question marks, so I just think it's been largely uninspiring under Foster. We don't have any more confidence right now. Early days, Peter Lucas. Game's just started, 10 minutes in. Okay, scrum, second scrum. Solid foundation, ball pops up. Good scrum from Ireland. Gibson Park just pops it in over the back. And Geordie attacks and takes it up to halfway. And Peter O'Mahony gets the turnover. 100% no confidence in Foster. So good work at the breakdown again. And it was actually the second man in that got the turnover there. Or at least he delayed his attack in the breakdown. All right, line out. We've had a couple already. Nothing really of note at this stage. Free kick to the Irish. Looks like they didn't have the gap there. Breakdown protection still slacking 100%, B. Kingy. Just weak work at the breakdown. I mean, and Ireland are quite smart with it. Sometimes they attack the breakdown. Sometimes they hold off and attack after the player comes over. But that was an example of, man tackled. First one there is Aaron Smith. Second man there is Peter O'Mahony. He's giving away, 8 inches in height, whatever it is, and probably 30 kgs. That was always going to be an Irish turnover. So it is a bit of concern that the All Blacks look a little bit lethargic running around the field already. Choose the same forwards that got dominated in past games on multiple occasions. Correct. I agree. So I would have put in Sami Sonet, Toke Aho. Looks like Ireland get the advantage there at the scrum, but it's scrum reset. I would have taken Toke Aho to start. I think Scott Barrett should have started at lock. Just my preference. The issue with the loosies that the All Blacks have at the moment is none of them are great in the line-out. And that's what's missing is just that third option in the line-out. Someone like a Cullen Grace. But obviously he shows us he's not that experienced. So I might have gone with Satutu purely for that reason. Akira Ioane is slightly... I think he's got a foot injury right now that he just needs another week to clear. So I'm certain they will start Akira next week. And that the Scott Barrett is really just coverage right now for... giving him another week to recover. Much better scrum from the All Blacks here, and they win the scrum penalty. Well done. So they'll be very happy with that. It's been sort of tit for tat in the scrums. And Ofa Tuangafasi gets the head slaps. But George Bower has been great. He's been physical already. He's looked good. And they win the scrum penalty. So I thought Ireland had the advantage pre-game. I still think they've got the advantage. But great to see the All Blacks get one back there. beat them to the push by the looks of it. It was just sort of pushed well at the right time. And the All Blacks lose the line out. Ari Savia complaining to the ref. Maybe focus on the opposition. Might be a better strategy. Chip in behind from Johnny Sexton. Finds the man. Oh! Jameson Gibson Park was right there on the hip. Bowden Barrett intercepts the ball. If he hadn't have intercepted that, it would have been a try at the other end of the... So Ireland have the ball. They've recovered the ball after Severis kicked it through. James Lowe. Artie Severe falls over in defence. So good dominant tackle there from Brodie Retallick by the looks of it. Ireland attacking on the All Blacks halfway line. Gets the ball out wide and kicks him behind. Looks like it's going to be too big. Bowden Barrett, what did you do that for? Ball went into the end goal, and rather than let it go in the end goal and play at it, he played at it, ran it back. And Lester Fainganuku slips, but gets a good clearance. That's a reasonable clearance. So All Blacks here under pressure again. It's just good game management from Johnny Sexton. Had the man right on his hip, chips it through. That man collected it. Whereas Bowden Barrett's looking a bit tentative, indecisive. There's some nervous energy in this game. Just watching the All Blacks here. Nervous start to the All Blacks. And good start to the Irish. I mean, it's exactly what we knew they would bring, was recycling the ball. Great game management, good in the breakdown. We've seen it all on display right now. What I was expecting from the All Blacks that we're not seeing was a bit more fire, ripping into tackles, ripping into breakdowns, turning momentum. I mean, that's what they'd spoken about all week. They've spoken about that being the key to victory here, is physical, dominate the collisions. But we're just... looks like it was all talk so far. You just sense a lot of nervous energy here from the All Blacks. All right, Ireland have the ball. Game clock I've got is 15:53. There's a stoppage in play. 15 minutes, 53 seconds. Line out Ireland. They do not take the ball cleanly. Comes out the back and the All Blacks regather. Knock on called. So it'll be All Black scrum. Jeez, they just look... the All Blacks' body language is terrible. Look shell-shocked, look nervous. It's weird. I find that really strange. Need someone to lift the body energy, the body language here. All right, so All Black scrum. Game clock 16:43 for those that are following along. It's on the All Blacks 40-metre line. Just over halfway. So it was a good scrum result earlier. Got the penalty. Let's see if they attack the scrum as well or if they just try and set a good base here. Ball is in. And Ireland dominate the scrum here. Picked up off the back by Artie. It's tit for tat in the scrums here, guys. Good work. The All Blacks still have it and are attacking. Nuggie setting up for a kick. Puts it over the top. Chaser's coming through. Man takes the ball uncontested. Brodie Retallick, first man there, was able to hold up for a period, but now Ireland on attack. Break the first tackle again. And Johnny Sexton just chips over the top. And Ireland almost regather the ball again. They're having a lot of success with that play. They're having a lot of success by just kicking the ball through or chipping it through, kicking it over the top, chasing the ball. There's just big gaps there at the back. So I wonder if Geordie is tentatively holding back, sitting back too far, or... All Blacks do have the ball on attack now. They're inside the Irish zone, so they're about 35 metres out from the line. 30 metres. Artie Savia. This is just one-out rugby. You look at this. It's literally just one-out rugby from the All Blacks. It's run, get tackled, recycle the ball, pass it to the next man, one out. There's just no continuity here. But the Irish defence is putting a lot of pressure on as well, so... Dan Cole's on the sideline giving his advice. B. Kingy says Ireland is so composed with their possession, you can see the Leinster combinations flowing. Exactly. And this is the question I have with Foster is we've also got teams with established combinations, so I think what Leinster and Ireland show well is that those combinations pay dividends at the top level because they are so well drilled. Whereas conversely, this just looks like a nervous start, new combination. Well, I don't think they are new combinations at the All Blacks, but it's just definitely a nervous start overall. All right, attacking ball here. All Blacks. Quinn Tupaia runs into trouble, gets held up, but manages to get to ground. All Blacks now on the Irish 22. Recycle the ball quickly. They'll be happy with that. Sever Reece gets a run. Beats first man, second man. George Bauer into it as well. All right, overlap. Whainganuku, 1-on-1, 1 metre short of the line. And it's a try to the All Blacks, Geordie Barrett. There was an all or nothing pass in there. There was a pass that went to the centre, and it was right in front of the defence. So the All Blacks managed to score that one. They got the overlap. Whainganuku comes up 1 metre short. Looks like Johnny Sexton's blowing up about something. So it was really on the back of Sever Reece, who managed to beat a couple of players, get them on the front foot ball. Tupaia, he's calling that a forward pass, is probably the complaint from Johnny Sexton. Tupaia offloads quickly on the halfway, gets it to Whainganuku, who manages to run 20-odd metres, gets pulled down just 1 metre short, and then recycle ball quickly. Geordie Barrett running at pace, gets over the line. Yoshi says it's not over yet. This game's a long way from over. Right, if I look at the two teams, right now Ireland looks like the better team, for sure. So, and it was largely like this back in November last year, for those who remember. Ireland's just having more success in key areas. They're dominating the breakdown. There's been some... They're going tit for tat at scrum time, but Ireland has probably had a bit more success at scrum time, slightly. And then you look at just how well drilled they are. Game management, they're finding the ball in behind the defense a lot. Johnny Sexton's either chipping it through or just kicking over the top and getting some purchase with that. Whereas the All Blacks are playing one-out rugby. They're just going, man gets tackled, recycle ball, pass it to the next man who's running. So... LB says some weaknesses around the ruck from ABs and obviously the chips behind. Exactly. So that's a clear plan that Owen Farrell has brought to the game, and it's working perfectly. Restart, knocked on by the All Blacks. So Ireland will get it in All Blacks territory. Yeah, Yoshi says it's not over yet. Definitely not over. And as I say, I think Ireland look like the better team right now. Be interesting to see later in the game when they roll the sub. So right now we're 23 minutes is my game clock, 23:11 for those that are following along. Possession is 50-50 pretty much. Territory slight advantage to the All Blacks. But there's not a lot in the stats. Let me just check the stats myself here. Let's jump over. Okay, this is not current, so let's make it current. So this is saying 63 possession to Ireland, which is not correct. Yeah, not much to say really in the stats. Turnovers conceded. That's probably the most telling stat right now. And let me just make this a bit more visible. This is the most telling stat right now. 4-1 turnovers, Ireland. So the All Blacks conceding far more turnovers. Defensively, one missed tackle additional. Not a lot to speak of. Yeah, so I think that right there is the most telling stats, turnovers conceded by the All Blacks. All right, scrum reset. Ireland ball. 24 minutes, 22 seconds for those that are following along. Let me update the score, sorry. 7-5. All Blacks ahead. Ireland hot on attack, though, in All Blacks territory. Look, teams have just... There's a real confidence here from this Irish team as well. Versus the All Blacks have a lot of nervous energy right now. And obviously we know how well drilled the Irish are, so they are very, very confident right now. All Black scrum looks dominant there, but Ireland recycle the ball out. Set play to the winger who knocks it on, unfortunately. What's the call here? All Blacks ball. Looked like a knock on to me. They're calling the line out. So it was a set play blindside, well defended by the All Blacks. Numbers were good. So not enough space there to work that blindside move, I thought. And All Blacks line out. Let's see what they can conjure up here. Now the Irish will be wanting to attack this, obviously. Let's jump back over to this view. Short line out. All Blacks get the ball back in their own 22. Go for a run. Ardie Savier's momentum is stopped right away. Nuggy gets the ball. Aaron Smith slips in the kick, so doesn't get a huge amount of yardage. Ireland hard on attack, and James Lowe ripping in. So Ireland have the ball on the 35-metre line. They like the blindside here. They're going blindside a lot. Maybe they're targeting Sever Reese's wing. All right, crossfield kick. Into the 22. Knocked on by Geordie Barrett. Or is that deemed a fair contest? Ireland have the ball. Going blindside again. Not much of an overlap there. So Earls just takes it into traffic. The second man, the third man. Just the phase play from Ireland's great. There's like the backdoor plays, second phase play, second man play. All right, All Blacks line out again. Just the way they use the pod structures is just so good. And they're always set up and in position, whereas the All Blacks are just playing with this nervous energy, not well drilled, unsure where they should be. So All Blacks line out again. It's almost a repeat of 5 minutes ago. And the All Blacks take the line out. They're going to try and have a little maul here. Getting a slight roll on, nothing. Oh, that's horrible work from the All Blacks. From the All Blacks forwards, cannot recycle the ball out, throw it away to Ireland. Ireland now have the ball. It's a bit disrupted at the breakdown. And Ireland have the advantage here. Earls gets the ball, puts a little goose step on Geordie Barrett. All right, Johnny Sexton slips over, but he had a real opportunity there. Gibson Park is so good. He just recycles. He's right there on the spot every time. Crisp pass, quick decision making. Obviously knows where players are supposed to be. Johnny Sexton's down. He was under a little injury cloud, wasn't he, Sexton, before he came into this game, so... Now he's got ball in hand. Full recovery. Ireland regain the ball. It's all a bit scrappy right now, but Ireland still have the ball. But that's what the All Blacks should be looking to do, is disrupt things in the breakdown. Now Severis gets a breakaway. Will he have the pace? Nah, he's gone. No one's got him. Peter O'Mahony still giving it a crack. Good to see the effort from him. Well, yeah, LB, Ireland were gifted the try there from, Severis. It was disruption ball, but what the All Blacks are finally doing well, or better, I should say, is disrupting the Irish ball. It was actually, the ball started to get messy, and I called it saying, messy ball now. It was because the All Blacks were just ripping into the tackles with a bit more physicality, finally pushing back the Irish attackers, contesting at the breakdown. Ball goes loose, Severis picks it up and runs for a try. So, yes, it was somewhat of a gift. We'll give, it's probably the right way to be looking at it, but also it was built on positive momentum from the defense. Let me know if others disagree with that, but that's how I saw that one. And yes, I'm a biased All Blacks fan, but also it just looked like, finally they were sort of slowing the Irish momentum. And the conversion's good. So, New Zealand are up 14-5. Now, if you saw this scoreline right now, you'd be thinking New Zealand are on top, but I don't feel that way. I still feel Ireland's the better team. What was positive there for the All Blacks is they finally started to get a bit of dominance in defence. Oh, we got our mate back. Who's bringing their mates here? This naked HD. LB, a lot of killing the ball in the rucks. Yeah, probably right. And you can probably put that down to hometown advantage not being called by the referee yet. But it'll depend on how he interprets this, right? He might start to get a little bit more strict on it. Rush defence puts the All Blacks under pressure, but they're able to clear the ball. Now Ireland have it with a good attacking opportunity. Geordie Barrett comes through. Oh, it looks like Ireland have made a change. Is there was that Sexton who's come off? Does anyone know? Carberry's on, so I suspect that was Sexton who came off. Ball's up in the air. It was a good contest there. Ref saying went backwards. That's a good lucky call, I should say. All right. All Blacks now attacking on the Irish halfway line. Ball went deep. Geordie Barrett goes to ground. Ball knocked on. Penalty to Ireland. Disruption at the breakdown. Quick kick tap from Gibson Parks. There's nowhere out there, but they get the front foot ball. They might be recognising that the All Blacks are tired, so they want to play at pace. I think that's part of the reason that Gibson Park went so quickly there. Good defence there from Tu'ungafasi. Puts in was that Bauer or Tu'ungafasi? I think it was Tuangafasi. Puts in a big hit. Turns the ball over. See, now what we're seeing from the All Blacks, they're playing with more confidence. They went from nervous energy to confident now. And that's dangerous. Lester Whanganuku gets the ball on the wing, kicks it through. Well covered there. Looks like Carberry. Carberry is on by the looks of it. Geordie chips it over the top. Does find space. Unable to regather the ball, so Ireland's got the ball. I'm just seeing a change in confidence here from the All Blacks, so they're finally playing with a bit more pepper in defence and confidence overall. Gibson Park shanks that one, so straight up in the air. Ireland are able to get the ball back, but held up. Carberry held up. Does make it to ground. Counter rucks through. All Blacks get the ball back. George Bauer by himself. Isolated. Does get the ball back. So now All Blacks attacking on the 22. Backdoor play. Chip through. Yeah, All Blacks playing territory. So it'll be Ireland line out roughly 10 metres from their own goal. Well, that's smart play from Geordie, but the big change that I'm seeing now is just more confidence from the All Blacks. But a lot of, if you cover the All Blacks or you follow them closely, a lot of the losses that we've seen in recent years have been on the back of exactly that kind of first 20 minutes that we just saw, which was all nervous energy. They need to start getting to that BDE, if you know what I mean. Start playing like you're, top dogs. That's what always served the All Blacks well. That confidence. All right, Gibson Park did have a run there. He's a little bit isolated. Ball's on the All Blacks side here, so they might get the counter ruck. Man laying on the ball. Aaron Smith spotted it, but has been pulled into the ruck. All Blacks got the ball back. So, the chip through for Tupaia. No one there. If he doesn't score this, it's unusual, and he scores the try. So that was turnover ball. Gibson Park went quickly, but there were numbers there for the All Blacks. They managed to get the turnover, despite, it looked like both forward packs were in there fighting for that ball towards the end because it was a crucial turnover. Ball comes out. Beauden Barrett gets the ball, chips it through, and Tupaia scores. I didn't see anything. Ref's taking it upstairs, but I didn't see anything there. Any thoughts from others on whether or not this is a try? It looked like a try to me. But they've taken it upstairs. All the boys huddled around looking up at the screen now. If you're following along, we're 35 minutes 18. So, nearing half time. Was he onside? He's definitely onside. Ball's already been kicked at that stage, bro. You got to take it back 2 frames. Yep. All right, so they give the try. That's 19. And he should get the kick here. He's right in front, so. Even Beauden Barrett could get that kick. Obviously, Geordie's kicking, and those who know Beauden, he's not the best kicker. But Geordie bangs that one over. So the All Blacks now jump out to a lead 21-5. As I say, it just feels like the big shift has been a lift in confidence, playing a bit more physically, disrupting the breakdown, and finally getting some positive outcomes there. Oh, God. Oops, I was on mute there. Sorry, guys. All right, restart. 36 minutes, so we're just a couple of minutes before halftime. You are showing less nerves. That's good. It was, if you mean me, I'm typically not a nervous person, but okay. If you mean the All Blacks, 100%. I think I think that first 20 minutes was all nervous energy there from the All Blacks. Once they've actually started establishing themselves, playing more confident, and you probably got to say it was on the back of that. It was on the back of that turnover ball. So there's a bit of disruption, turnover ball, and then Sever Reece runs away for a try. It can be a bit deflating for a defense, right? So you feel like you're on top, but then all of a sudden you're behind your own posts. So that can be deflating from a defensive perspective and confidence building from an attack perspective. So maybe that was the turning point. They actually started to get a little bit more confidence, but they're definitely playing with confidence now. And on attack on the halfway, so look, to be honest, as I watch this game, no matter what the result of this is, there's just something about Ian Foster coached teams. Does anyone else feel that? That we don't know who the top team is. They come in nervous. Yes, they managed. Nuggie gets the little breakthrough. Aaron Smith, one-on-one, chip and chase. It misses it. Artie Sevier dives to try and claim the try. Who knows? Was it a knock-on from Aaron Smith? Did any of the Irish players who had a crack at the ball as well, did they manage to ground it? Or was it Artie Sevier? Yeah, so what I was saying is that just so far under Ian Foster's tenure, there just seems a real lack of confidence in this team. And whether they go on to win by 30, 35 or 40, or they lose this game, that first 20 minutes is still quite telling. It still says to me that they haven't figured this out. And I actually thought in the lead up to this game, my prediction was the All Blacks by 15 was my call. And the reason was not because this is the best squad picked by Ian Foster, not because they're a well-coached team, because any time an All Blacks team loses 2 in a row, they come out, or any game, they come out with a point to prove the next few games. There's been a lot spoken about the way that the All Blacks lost those last 2 games late last year. So we were always going to see a highly motivated team at home, packed Eden Park, with no excuses. But the real question, there are still those signs that, under Ian Foster, this team lacks cohesion, it lacks confidence. I don't know, So Aaron Smith did touch that, but it looked like he knocked that back, so whether or not they'll call that will be the next decision. Sandor says, Ireland are a second-tier rugby team. I don't believe that is true, mate. Give it a try. That's not true. They're definitely not a second-tier rugby team. They're playing a motivated All Blacks. That's one thing, but also might be the pace. I wonder if the pace of the game's starting to get to them. Aaron Smith straight up the middle of the breakdown there. All right, nearing half-time. Geordie Barrett here to take the kick 1 minute before half-time. I don't know if anyone else likes to put bets on games, but I've got a few big bets on this game and others. Which is looking pretty good so far. $28. Didn't see if he got that kick actually, but another one that even Beauden Barrett could have kicked. All right, so All Blacks 28-5. This is actually starting to feel quite similar to the Māori game, which, if you remember, as in, Ireland did have a sort of reasonable start, I thought, to that game. They looked like they were on top in periods of play. They looked like when they were keeping the ball in hand, they were getting good outcomes. But then you just saw the Māori just play with a little bit more. Well, they showed a lot of skills in the wet, that's for sure. But also, they just played with a bit more cohesion with ball in hand. All right, let's get these stats ready and just have a chat about stats before we dive into it too much. These stats are hard to believe. Okay, halftime. Now, let's take a look at the stats. These stats are hard to believe for me. So this is saying Ireland possession 60%. Does that mean that we've had that much turnover, as in the All Blacks have had that much turnover ball to result in those tries? Yeah, a large number of them have come from turnover ball, but it has felt like the possession stats have been split. But okay, let's say that that is true. Ireland with significantly more passes. That's a signal, obviously, of how well drilled they are. They play with cohesion. This is probably a telling stat. So for those that were here earlier looking at the stats, the turnovers conceded were very lopsided at that point. It was 4 or 5 to 1. 4 or 5 to the All Blacks and 1 to Ireland. And at that stage, Ireland were the first to score. Ireland had all the momentum, and Ireland were looking the better team. Now the turnovers has evened up. And to my eye, and I'd love to know what others think, a lot of that was built on the physicality the All Blacks brought in defence. There was a period there just before that Severis try where it did look like there was a lot more disruption going in at the breakdown, that the tackles were a bit more spicy, that, you know, the breakdown, there was a lot more effort at the breakdown, and the ball was just messy on the Irish side, which we haven't really seen this whole tour yet, if I'm honest with you. Most of the disruption in the Māori game from the Irish perspective was due to their own errors and ill discipline, whereas this looks like finally the All Blacks have put Ireland under pressure in attack. That being said, and John Tumai says, what a relief, looked like our ABs were getting smashed. That's how I saw it. Even when the All Blacks were up by 2 tries, I was still saying here that Ireland looked like the better team. Just because, you know, the work at the breakdown was far superior. The recycling of the ball was quicker. You know, everyone knew where they needed to be. They were playing with confidence and playing as a well-drilled team. Whereas the All Blacks, playing with nervous energy, looked like they were down on confidence, weren't sure where to stand or who should be doing what. It was just a lot of nervous energy. But they managed to claw back some confidence through that Severis try, and that was built on finally disrupting the breakdown and finally dominating in defence. So, and I think that is the reason why turnovers conceded now have evened up. That being said, we know the All Blacks are dangerous with the ball, so they can go ahead and score tries really at will. See, this is what I was expecting more from the possession stats, roughly 50-50. Missed tackles, about the same. Kicks in play. So All Blacks kicking a lot less, is how I read this. Not much for these stats. These stats are actually quite poor. This is the Rugby Pass website, so not the best. Ireland won a lot more rucks. I think that's because they're cycling through a lot quicker. So the scrums have been interesting. I think the All Blacks have been able to turn a couple of scrums, and you know the Irish have looked dominant in scrums at times. So it's going to continue to be a real battle. I think what's going to be a real challenge for the Irish now is when they bring on that second unit. Are they fresh from the Māori All Blacks game, or are they struggling? Because if they are, then this is going to be a lonely. This could be anything. The score, right? Can they come back into this game? 100%. All they've got to do is start dominating back at the breakdown like they were earlier. You know, continuing to use that continuity of play. Game management has been great. So those little kicks through from Johnny Sexton, little chips over the top. Sorry, chips into the back or kick over the top. They've been great, but you know, the All Blacks finally started to disrupt the breakdown, and that's what led to a lot of those tries. So it has been a good game. Peter Lucas says, are we gaining confidence? Sounds like we might be. I think we are. We looked nervous in the beginning, as in the All Blacks looked nervous in the beginning. Now they look confident. They're finally playing with that BDE, is how I see it. And it's a shame that I still... No matter what the result is in this one, guys, whether the All Blacks go on to win by 50 or not, I still think that 20 minutes of the All Blacks getting dominated by the Irish is the biggest concern for the All Blacks. There was basically 60 minutes of that last year in November against the Irish, right? If that continues, this team will not win the World Cup. They need to figure this out, right? They need to... Foster needs to start selecting a lineup that he can really build around. Like, I don't think he knows who his top team is. I don't know if anyone else in the comments can name the All Blacks' top team, but I don't think he knows it. Whereas Farrell knows exactly, well, for the most part, let's say 80%, he knows who his top team is. The All Blacks, I'd say it's the other way around. 20% they know who the top team is. Yeah, definitely a few soft tries let in, LB, but we might disagree on this one, but I actually think that the first of the soft tries was built on the All Blacks finally muscling up in defence and disrupting the breakdown for that turnover. It's a great game if you're an All Blacks fan, I guess, but I think there's a lot of red flags here for the All Blacks that just show, like, I don't know if anyone's confident under Foster. I'm certainly not. Yeah, so they're just going through the replays now. So the Quinton Tupaia try was brought about from a turnover in the Irish 22. So definitely the Severeich try I would describe as soft, LB. The try for Quinton Tupaia, that was good turnover ball, great vision from Beauden Barrett to put it through, and then obviously the next part was Quinton Tupaia running through. And then that last try from Aaron Smith was just, he exploited an opportunity. There's been a lot of kicking in behind the defense at the moment. So whether that's a symptom of the rush defense or whether that is just both teams have identified areas. Foster has been shocking, Rob says. I agree. I don't think you're going to get many disagreeing. But if you're an All Blacks fan, I don't know. I'm not clear on who the best team is. I'm also not clear that the team knows confidently, what style they're trying to play here. It started a little bit, someone pointed out in the comments actually, it looked a little bit Springbok-like, just kicking the ball away. We know that the All Blacks can counter-attack very well, but it just looked like they were trying to manage the game, which is just, it's just not New Zealand rugby DNA, right? Just to be playing ping-pong with the ball. So, maybe that is fair enough. We started to get beaten there from the Irish in the early stages because they're a lot better at that style of play than the All Blacks are. And then when the All Blacks finally start playing their own style of rugby, start putting points on the board. LB says, I see the Box and French running through this AB's side. We'll see. I feel like when it comes to the Springboks All Blacks, it's like rock, paper, scissors. It's like the Springboks hammer everyone except for the All Blacks, right? The All Blacks seem to be the Achilles heel of the Springboks, and that just goes back to the great rivalry that we have, that New Zealand rugby has with with South Africa. So I don't think the Springboks are going to hammer the All Blacks at all. The French, though, so the French are hammering everyone. So to me, I'd love to hear what others think. I think France are the team to beat at the next Rugby World Cup at this stage. I think probably second favourites at the moment are the Springboks. Then you would have to say the All Blacks. Then you probably put Ireland and England pretty close to each other. Slightly Ireland ahead. But that would be my top five. And then obviously you've got the next set. So Australia could be one team that vastly improves. I think in the next game against England, that's going to be a really interesting game. In fact, should we have a look at those lineups while we're waiting and just have a chat about that game? Let's have a look. South Africa, traditionally, Wales is somewhat their bogey team, right? So that could be a close game, but the way the South Africans are playing, it's just hard to see. Yeah, Porter says, this is so disappointing. No excuses. Physically is usually not good enough. This will be embarrassing tour. So you're coming up from the perspective of the Irish, I'm guessing there, Porter. Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with you, though. All right, let's look at the Aussies. So Yeah, I mean, they've been rewarded for LB says SA versus Wales will be close. I think it will too. I think traditionally Wales have been the bogey team with the Springboks. I think they play a style that can disrupt the Springboks. I think that could be closer than people think. A lot of people calling that one by 2030, but Springboks aren't a team that score 50 points, you know. Okay, England versus Australia. So, I think some of the... So, Billy Vunipola returning for England was, I think, quite a big call there, and a lot of people really interested in that decision. Danny Kerr has now become sort of that starting... Marcus Smith. Obviously, that's starting 10. Owen Farrell's there. Joe Marchant, I should say. A lot of people remember him from his days at the Blues, where he came. He didn't get a huge amount of game time, so I don't think we saw enough of him. But obviously, he's gone back to Harlequins. I think he plays for in the Premiership and has done pretty well, so he gets the call up. Joe Cokanasiga, so big unit there on the wing. It's an interesting team. I mean, if you translate this to the team that beat the All Blacks, or at least competed at the World Cup, made the World Cup semi-final, this is a very different team. And there's been a lot made about the style that Eddie Jones is trying to introduce. Ellis Ganji's a good player at the moment, so he seems to be in amongst it on and off the field. But, big unit, strong unit in the scrum there. They haven't yet clicked, right, England. So they're still struggling to find their feet. I believe that they're trying to experiment here. A lot of people would have saw the Barbarians game, and you can't make too much on those types of games. But they were soundly beaten, and you never want to be soundly beaten, especially in your own home ground, even when you're experimenting. So I don't know what that does for the confidence. I don't know whether or not this team is committed to the style that Eddie Jones is trying to play, or where they're at, really. But they haven't been getting the results, I think, is one way that we can look at this right now. On the other side, no one's expecting Australia to do anything. They've been down for some time. They had a turbulent reign under Cheika. I actually personally quite like Cheika. I know he's a bit of a firebrand, so he rubs people the wrong way. He builds up the siege mentality. He rubs administrators and the media and the ref the wrong way. But, I just felt like he was someone who had Australia's best interest in mind. He's a proud Australian, proud Wallaby representative, really wanted to see Australian rugby do well. They didn't do too great under his tenure, though. So, under Dave Rennie, he's willing to give players a lot more of a crack. So, I just see him being someone who's a lot more, trying to encourage Australians to express themselves, both in the back line and in the forwards. This is a good forward pack, but I don't see it right now as a world-class forward pack for the Australians. If they can get parity in the forwards, they can do very well in the backs, is my view. Their back line is where their strengths lie. So, in the back line, Quade Cooper comes back from Japan at the moment. Corabetti and Callaway. Callaway's had a good few years in the jersey. Corabetti, former Melbourne Storm, for those who follow rugby league, great player. Samu Karevi, probably the best 12 running around, I think. I think he is the best 12 running around in world rugby. I'd love to hear what others think. And then Len Ikita was he's just a power unit. So defensively, he's going to be fronting up there. I think Owen Farrell and Joe Marchant are going to have their hands filled. They've got a real advantage as the Aussies there in the midfield. I actually give the advantage here to the Australians. I'm also looking forward to that battle between Quade Cooper and Marcus Smith. Apparently, Quade Cooper sends them tips and they have sort of some kind of DM type relationship. I don't know what that means or what's going on there, but they're really trying to help each other, right, at the end of the day. And there's a lot of criticism on why Quade Cooper is helping a younger player. I think it's good. I think it's good that you've got players that are trying to help each other, older players trying to mentor younger players, show them the ropes, help them navigate through. This is all good stuff, right? And if you're trying to withhold information because you think that you can get a better outcomes for yourself. I just see that as a real negative mindset. On this game, so just before they're about to kick back off, doesn't look like any changes to the sides at this stage. But on this game, Australia versus England, what do others think? Right now, I think Australia wins this game. Some of the comments. BCoy13, losing to Ireland last year was a difficult thing to process. Can't count them out till the end. Very good 80 minutes squad. Kia kaha bees. I agree. It was a poor loss last year. Typical of Ian Foster teams. This team has come in better, but there was a real 20 minutes period of worry. They look more confident now. That's great. But I just wonder if they go on to blow this game out, and let's say they blow Ireland off the park, I still feel like it's masking some of the issues that Foster and this All Blacks team have that could be exposed in more important games. Peter Lucas, sorry, kia ora everyone. I'm in Alice Springs, Aussie. Welcome, bro. Welcome in. LB House, France #1. SA teams have won everything they can. WC Lions Tour, URC. That's because they're not playing Kiwi teams, LB. That's why they've won everything. I'm joking. That's a joke. But, Ireland hot on attack here to start the game. I think France is still #1 at home to win the Rugby World Cup, followed by South Africa. But right now, South Africa is the best team in the world for sure. But I just think the favourite to win the Rugby World Cup is France. Argentina will do well under Checker. I agree, Porter. I think, he gets a lot of... He's got a real... how do we say this? He's a person who rubs people the wrong way really easily. And that's whether you are an administrator in a team, so the Australian Rugby Union, if you're the media, if you're the opposing team coach, he just rubs you the wrong way. But he had Australia's best interest at heart. He was doing his best for that team. For Argentina, he'll bring a wealth of knowledge. All right, Ireland have an attacking line out 5 metres out. They've got the maul moving now. It's going sideways, but they've got the ball out the back now. And attacking. Going blindside again. It's a definite tactic, this. Go blindside. Ref's giving the penalty. LB wanted a bit more going on at the breakdown. He got it from the ref. So ref calls that one for you, LB. Yeah, George Bell just laying all over it, really. Not rolling away. That's an easy one. Easy penalty. Be good to see Ireland get in here. Nice and early in the second half. Give themselves plenty of time to work their way back into the game. Strong base here. Oh, is that going to be pulling down the maul? No, let's that one go. Ireland had set them all out of the line out. Quick line speed from the All Blacks in defence. Blindside again. They were one pass away from exposing an overlap there, the Irish. Gibson Park goes open. Tyke Furlong straight to ground. Looks like, the man gets shoved back. He looked all money to score there, the Irishman. Carberry's got the ball out too. Couldn't see who has the ball. Artie Savia in with a tackle. They continue the wave. James Lowe gets the ball out. Henshaw. Or was it Ringrose? Try time Ireland. Perfect start for the Irish. Yep, Gary Ringrose scores that. I agree, LB. But the way for other teams to sort of counter-attack that. So Ireland, to me, is probably the best drilled team in world rugby in that when they get the ball recycling, everyone knows exactly where to stand. The structure that they play with, they have forward pods, the second phase play running. Gibson Park is the perfect pivot for that as well, because he's got such a quick clearance, quick decision making. He's quick around the park and gets the ball really quickly. But all of that is dependent, as you say, on 1 second rucks, right? On quick ball. And the only way to counteract that is either dominate physically at the contact area or disrupt the breakdown. And that's what the All Blacks spoke a lot about in this game, was trying to do. In advance of this game, I mean trying to do. And for, let's say, 25, 30 minutes of this game, 20 minutes of this game, the All Blacks have done that and disrupted. I did notice that the ref actually pulled up the disruption at the breakdown, so maybe he's trying to adjudicate that a little bit sort of better. It's not an easy kick, no. It's sideline kick. But the All Blacks have got a... Oh, he got the kick. Sorry, I should update that. Penalty to the Irish. So, he's saying the man did not roll away. So, confident start here from the Irish in the second half. They'll be happy with this. .46 and 10 seconds is the game clock that I'm seeing for those that are watching along. New Zealand conceded 5 penalties, Ireland 3. Ireland with a attacking line out just inside the All Blacks 45. And Ireland secure the ball, although it's scrappy, and Cody Taylor dives on it. All Blacks ball on halfway. Quinn Tupaia attacking up the middle. Beauden Barrett now running with the ball. That was a knock on by Sam Cane, not called by the ref. Bit of rugby justice there in that the next attacking raid was pushed back. Sam Cane with a terrible backdoor pass. Rieko Ioane does get over halfway. All right, the All Blacks playing with a bit more pace here, and Brodie Retallick just throws himself into inside ball for Lester Fainga'anuku. That's interesting, actually. Fainga'anuku, for those who follow Super Rugby, seems to have a lot higher work rate. Haven't seen much of him at all this game. There was that one run on the wing, but normally he goes inside trying to find work, and that's what I was hoping we would see from him in this game, is a bit more, looking for work rather than just hanging out on your wing. All right, penalty against Peter O'Mahony for work at the breakdown. Jeez, he's got an angry face, hasn't he, old Peter O'Mahony? I mean, he's a no business character, obviously, but looks permanently angry, that guy. All right, so All Blacks are up by 16. And looks like they're going for the touchline, so they'll be looking to attack. Beauden Barrett puts the All Blacks 10 metres out with an attacking line out. Back of the line out, take the ball down. Sam Cane finds... Oh, the Irish got a turnover by the looks of it. Oh no, All Blacks have got it back. Trying to recycle. Messy, but they've still got the ball on attack, and they get the penalty, the Irishman laying in the ruck. And crossfield kick. Too high. All Blacks get the advantage. What's that body language from Quinn Tupaia? He kind of gave the shrug of the shoulders, like, looked like terrible kick, but that body language is not really All Black like there, Quinn Tupaia. So, All Black penalty. What are they? Up by 16. Do you go up by 19? You probably do. I mean, if for anything, the the Irish are, have great momentum, so you'd probably want to slow their momentum down a little bit. Maybe just try and draw your own momentum back in. Big Kingy, that's what I like about Will Jordan. He's wing, but basically plays as FP and ever-present support play. I agree. He's also better positionally. Like one thing in the final of the Super Rugby, if you rewatch that one, in the kicking duels, Will Smith is always taking the ball on the full. He puts himself in really good positions and actually forces the kickers to adjust to his positional play, so they're less likely to kick because they know he'll take it in the air and attack straight away, whereas other teams find a lot more space. The Crusaders were able to find space when kick returning back to the Blues. So that's what I like about Will Jordan, and I would actually go Will Jordan at fullback in my team and Geordie Barrett on the wing. Jaco Duplessis, welcome. How does the Irish team's skill set compare to those of the All Blacks in your opinion? I think as a team they're far better drilled. But, in New Zealand rugby, I think in terms of X factor and just to a man, the skill set in the All Blacks is better. But as a team, the Irish are extremely well drilled. And just when they get it right, it's just so hard to stop. They're much better at game management than this All Blacks team anyway. I find that their kicking into space, etc., has been really good. If you guys are enjoying this, why don't you go ahead and hit like? I mean, I'm enjoying watching these games and just sort of chatting rugby, and I'd appreciate it if you guys enjoy it as well. Just hit like and let me know that you're enjoying it, or I'm just not sure if I'll go live for the next game. I think I'd rather just kind of chill and watch it, to be honest, rather than, stream and discuss it. I'm very interested in the outcome of the next couple of games. Okay, so the All Blacks get the penalty. Ireland are appealing. They're not happy. Front row collapsing is the call. I'm surprised the All Blacks are going for the scrum here. I mean, it's been sort of 50-50. Maybe they're looking to put this game away here. Game feels like nervous energy. Why not just bang the three over and reset? Turn the momentum. Slow the game down. A lot of benefits to just banging over the three, even just to go, not just going 19 points, which is... for Ireland to better that, you need 3 converted tries. Predictions for the next games, guys. See, look at that. Why compete at the scrum? Now the All Blacks have lost the ball after having dominance there in their own. They should have taken the 3, swung the momentum, but instead Ireland have turned the ball. That's really poor decision-making from Sam Cane to not take the 3 there. You had 2 opportunities to take the 3. Instead, you tried to compete at the scrum a number of times where Ireland have had the better of the scrum, I think, overall. There's been 2 occasions that the All Blacks have managed to win the scrum, but Ireland have had the better. And, the All Blacks try and compete at the scrum instead of just taking the 3. You're 16 up, you might as well go 19. To surpass that, you need 21, which is 3 converted tries. But more importantly, you swing the momentum. You take a break. Ireland had been on top at that stage. You swing the momentum. Now, Whanganuku attacks off the All Blacks line out. The All Blacks are around about the 35-metre mark. Ardie Savea gets slightly on the outside, makes a break. Rico Ioane's there. Ardie Savea with the step. Try time. That's just brilliance from Ardie Savea. Yeah, maybe I got that one wrong, Peter Lucas. Ardie Savea just turns me into a liar. Right, goes ahead and scores a try, and it's all happy days from the All Blacks. But I do think that was poor decision making. I don't know what others think. Ireland were on top at that stage. They were certainly the more physical team. It looked like they were going to, there were real opportunities that the All Blacks could lose momentum at that stage and come away with nothing. So I still feel that that's poor decision making, but brilliance from Ardie Savea and others. You can't really account for that. So someone asked earlier, Jaco Duplessis asked, how does the Irish team skill set compare to those of the All Blacks? That's an example where, as individuals, the All Blacks have far superior skills. But as a team, I feel like Ireland are a lot better drilled. Okay, Jaco asked what the handling errors are for both teams. Let's have a look. Let's check out the stats. Handling errors. Offloads, turnovers, conceded. These are not the best stats, these. No, we don't have handling errors. Nope, don't have handling errors, sorry. I would say, just from what I've noticed, thanks for the reminder. Update the scoreboard. Done. What I've noticed in terms of the handling errors, I feel like they've been quite low, actually. I think Ireland, it's been more disruptive at the breakdown. There's been a bit of sort of disruption and scrappiness at the breakdown. Not really with ball in hand. Ireland are on attack here. Keith Earls. So Ireland are on the 22. Again, that's another example where the ball is disrupted. Fainganuku gets the ball and runs it back, is tackled. All Blacks now on attack in their own half. That was off the foot. All right, guys, next stoppage in play. I'm going to have to go and grab a beer, so ref calls it. I'm taking a break. I'll be back in 1 second. I'm back, guys. Thank you. Just needed to grab a refill. All right, Ireland, I have an attacking line out. It's about 15 metres out from the All Blacks line. They take it well. Game clock, 56 minutes, 50. 56 minutes, 50 seconds for those that are following along. Ireland get the ball and are attacking. Bundy Arke's on now. Looks like Angus Ta'aval's on as well. Toke Aho's on. So both teams starting to ring the changes. I think probably could have done that a little bit earlier, but Ian Foster. Ireland now 5 metres out, so hot on attack. So the only changes I noticed here... Oh, there's another change. Is that Conan on now? Jack Conan's on, yes. So quite a few changes here now. Ireland 9 phases attacking the All Blacks try line. All Blacks just not quick to get up. Like, when the ball gets recycled like that, they're just not quick, and that's a try. The ref's just pausing. He's going to check it. Peter O'Mahony not happy. He wants a try. The ref's probably doing the right thing. Peter, just give him a break. Right. Consulting with his touch judge. Touch judge says take it upstairs. So Ireland not going away. They're definitely not going away. I would like to see the All Blacks now. 60 minutes. Let's bring on Mo'unga. Let's make some changes here. So Ioane comes around, looks to wrap the ball up. Does get hands on ball. Carberry is able to maintain control. Carberry is never held in the movement. Carberry loses the ball. That's a knock on, guys. That's lost possession. Do they give that? I mean, hand is still on the ball, but it's not. He's not in control. Just comes out of the back of the hand. Yeah, that's a knock on. Come on. That's one of those where you probably just need to run it at full speed just to see what you think. When you start slowing it down, when you can see the little pinky finger still on the ball as he's placing it. I mean, the truth is he lost control of that ball, right? So he does not have full control of that ball going down. They'll probably give this, but it's just... in my view, that's a knock on. It's less about does he have his hand on the ball and do we not see separation, and more about does he maintain control? Is he in control of the ball? LB says control's not part of the law. True. If the fingernail's on the ball, then it's a try. But that's where I think the law is incorrect, to be honest. I think it should be about control, not about I guess separation. So TMO decision. You guys are watching it live. What is the call? Hang on. Potential foul play. Oh, I missed that. I feel like I'm really far behind here. Potential foul play. So are they saying no try? Yes, it looks like a no try. Playing the advantage. Okay. Fair enough. Sam Cane. Can we just sub Sam Cane, please? I feel like the All Blacks now, 58 minutes in. It's time to roll the changes. Sam Cane off. Dalton Papali'i on. Peter Gus Sawakula. Let's give him a run. Bring off Sam Whitelock. Move Scott Barrett into lock. What else do we need? We need Mo'unga on, Barrett off. And Braden Ennor can just take the night off, I think. Quick tap from the Irish. Hot on attack here. 1 meter out. He's going to go for the base of the post here, I'd imagine. Ooh, good defense there from Sam Whitelock. And is it an Irish try? It is. Well done. Try Ireland. Josh Van der Fleer. Haven't seen much of Josh Van der Fleer this game, actually. He's been a bit quiet, I thought. Oh, we got the spammers here. Thank you. Welcome. Oh, he's lost the ball as well. Look, look, if anyone looks at this, I mean, these are two. That's a lost ball. Okay, that's again separation. Again, that's separation. But if anyone looks at this with confidence, this is a confident performance by the All Blacks. It's just, this is not a confident performance. Ireland have been very close to scoring tries. Yako, yes, that's the reason. Is another line-out option. Also, Akira Ioane typically plays, I think he's probably the front runner for the blindside flank at the moment. And he needs another week recovery. So, okay, Mo'unga rolls on. Carl Tunukuafe comes on as well for George Bauer. Christie's on. Finlay Christie on for Aaron Smith. And Tupaia off, Mo'unga on. So, are they putting Geordie into the midfield? This will be interesting, what the lineup is. Let's see how they structure. So Richie Mo'unga has come on and Quinn Tupaia has come off. It'll be interesting if they're going Mo'unga at 12, Barrett at 12, Bowden at 12, or Geordie at 12. All are options. I would like to see Geordie at 12, if I'm honest with you. I just think big body running in. All right, All Blacks scrum 5 metres out. Game clock is 60 minutes and 20 seconds. Strong scrum from the All Blacks. Dominated there. Finlay Christie runs it. Akira Ioane gets the ball. Richie Mo'unga. All Blacks hot on attack. Bowden, indecisive. Goes blindside. Lester Fainganuku. Straight into contact. Right out the back, and they're attacking. So, not the best kick there from... Good clearance, but not the best kick. And out on the full, so Geordie Barrett, they pull it all the way back. Ireland ball inside the All Blacks 20. 22. Took the ball back in. How many Barrett brothers are there? I think there's 5, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, but there's definitely 4. I'm just wondering if there's a 5th. Ireland scrappy in the line out. Unfortunately, they lose it there. So All Blacks managed to retain possession and clear the ball. And that's out around 40-ish. Ref gives it 43. So it looks like Retallick's going to come off. He's played pretty well, I thought, Brodie Retallick. He's been quite physical. Scott Barrett has played well for the most part. What are we, 60 minutes in? Who's your man of the match, guys? Who do you think has performed the best here? Man of the match. Oh, it's a tough one, actually. There haven't really been too many standouts, if I'm honest with you. Artie would be pretty close for me. Brodie's played pretty well. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of talk about that no try, those 2 no tries. Agree, LB. I'm not impressed by either team. There's even if the All Blacks put on another couple of tries, let's say that this finishes 50 whatever to 12, let's say. There are enough red flags in here that I as an All Black fan, I'm concerned. And there's enough positives here that as an Irish fan, people should be thinking they still have big, there's still potentially a big performance here that they can get a win in New Zealand. Scott Barrett might be close as well for others that are sort of thinking about who best on field has been. But no one has really stood out. No one has really sort of cemented this decision, I think. Have I got the score correct? Oh, I've given too many points here for Ireland. Let me just take this away. Sorry, guys. There was a disallowed try, so the actual score is 35-12. Peter Lucas, score is 35-12 to the All Blacks. 62 minutes in. Peter Gus Sowakula gets into the game. They've taken off Brodie Retallick. Scott Barrett moves into lock. And Peter Gus gets a run. This should get spicy now. We've got some real ball runners on the field. Tokay Aho, Peter Gus. Notably, Artie goes to blindside. Grab that ball, Finlay. Grab that ball. Scrum disruption. The last thing you want to do is just look at the ball. Peter Gus, first touch in play as a knock on. So you won't be happy with that. Got to make up for those things, bro. You got to... Leicester Fainganuku gets the turnover. Was the ref playing advantage? He must have done advantage over. Ball out the back. All Blacks willing to attack. Oh, Sam Cane with a terrible throw. Ball called knock on. Getting scrappy now. 15 minutes to go. Peter Gus Sowakula, first touch of the game is a knock on. That's not great. So now it's a disruption in play. Yeah, I think Artie Savia is probably my man of the match at this stage. Lineout's been pretty good, so Scott Barrett, they've all played their part. I think in terms of the back line, there hasn't been a lot there. Geordie's looked tentative. Barrett, Bowden's looked tentative. Quintupaia hasn't done much. Ioane hasn't got the ball too often. Sever Reese has been kind of involved, but overall the wingers have had quite a low work rate. Aaron Smith's played well, but, as a halfback hasn't had too much of a real sort of... Hasn't had too much of a say on the game. Free kick All Blacks. Ireland coming in too quickly there. All right, let's see some attack here. Come on. Rob says Sam Cane hasn't had a great match today. Ball's not out. What are you doing, Geordie Barrett? I don't remember the last time he has had a good game, to be honest. Rob? Has Sam Cane? I mean, he's solid without being spectacular. Yeah, I can't really complain about the ref, to be honest, B. Kingy. I know others have said he hasn't been harsh enough at the breakdown. The All Blacks were disrupting a bit too much, but I haven't seen that. I've just seen sort of good contest at the breakdown, which is what the All Blacks were hoping to do in this game. Great defensive work there from Artie. So I think overall the refs let the game go pretty much. He's been fine. South African ref, isn't he? Carberry fumbles the ball, does manage to get out of tackles. Ireland's still full of attack here. And the All Blacks get the ball out. Peter Gus didn't knock it on, but he had Henshaw right on him, rushing out the line. So man had to put in the work there. All right, so English ref, is he? What do you think of the ref, LB? I'm interested in your opinion as an Irish fan. Seems to be a lot of indecision plays from the ABs. All Blacks are down on confidence. This is a good win, but I just think that there are red flags for this All Blacks team. A lot of red flags. The first 5 minutes they were on top, but then there was a period of 25 minutes, 20 minutes I would say, where Ireland was well on top. They looked like they were down on confidence. They looked like they were unsure where to stand, who should be where. There was just a lot of nervous energy, is how we described it earlier. They have been able to build their confidence mainly through that try from Sever Reece. And that was built on physicality at the breakdown, disruption at the breakdown, and they were able to dominate the contact area as well. So that resulted in that turnover ball, which resulted in Sever Reece running away for that try. Since then, they've played a lot better. So, and now we're finally getting Lester Fainga'anuku looking for work. He's in there. See, this is far better. Peter Gus gets another run. Okay, LB says he's mostly all right, so that's probably that's probably a vote of confidence then overall. All Black fans say they like him. Irish fan says he's all right. Then he's probably pretty good. All right, All Black scrum, 5 meters out. James Ryan looks like he's moved into captaincy now with... Rob says, don't think they should have taken Brodie off. I think he was injured. He looked like he was holding something, so he may not have been injured, but he probably just could have done with the spell. I think the Scott Barrett experiment has been good for the most part. Oh, LB is a Bok fan. Yes, Scott Barrett's been good, but not spectacular. Hasn't given a lot in attack. Has just kind of kept up his end, which is, when they did start to get on top, part of it was physicality. Kept up his end in the line-outs. Nothing spectacular, really, so... Let's see another try. Come on, boys. We need to see some action here. This is just descending into a bit of a ball fest, to be honest. They're stacked on the left side, so they might just attack blind here. What do they got up their sleeves? We're going to see Peter Gus off the back. It's a penalty, All Blacks. So Big Carl here, putting in the work. Nuggies off. So Aaron Smith's off, Finlay Christie's in. Rob asks, how will Jordan cope? Will Jordan? I prefer him at fullback. I know others probably don't, but I just think he has better positional play than Geordie. Geordie has to be on the field if you play Bowden, because Bowden can't kick. But to me, I think there needs to be more Crusaders in this team overall, if I'm honest with you. I would go Aaron Smith, backline would be Aaron Smith, Richie Mo'unga, David Havili, Rico Ioane. Peter Gus is in! Too big. Well, too quick off the back. Yeah, Yako. So Jerome Kano was really the last of the proper number sixes, the last of the proper big, uncompromising blindside flankers that the All Blacks had. Before then, you had the likes of Jerry Collins. Go back further, Jamie Joseph. Like there was a model, of player that played blindside flanker. In New Zealand we call them the piano movers. Big units who could just shift things around at the breakdown on the field defensively. They went away from that after Jerome Kano. And now what they started to go to a lot more mobility, guys that were sort of breakdown specialists, jackals, and as a result of that lost a bit of physicality at the breakdown in other areas. So they're trying to build that back, and that was part of the reason Scott Barrett's in there, part of its line-out work. Artie Savia with that funny dummy that he does, ball over the head type thing. Yeah, they're trying to bring that back. So Akira Ioane at the moment is probably the incumbent. Richie Mo'unga with the ball in hand, gets trapped, held up. They managed to recycle. But they are definitely missing someone like that. Sorry to close that all out there. Yako. They're not even on the ball. That was horrible. 2 Irish players over the man, appealing for the penalty at the breakdown, but the ball is half a metre away from them. So they're not even playing at the ball. Another kick not in touch. That's horrible. That's like second or third kick that the All Blacks have not put into touch. All right, we're getting some attack from their own in goal. Jordie Barrett is off his game for sure. Does get good clearance there, so they got up to halfway. But it's the second or third kick that he's missed touch, so not great from him. All right, Peter Gus gets the line-out steal, so well done. And Toke Aho gets stripped. So good work there from Sheehan. Looks like Jordie Barrett's taking those kicks. Better line speed from the All Blacks. Oh, they get the break here. Oh, it does Ireland. And the penalty. Oh, terrible pass. What was that? Look, in any All Black team that you put out in this game under these conditions was going to get the win, I feel. I just feel like there was too much on the line after 2 losses late last year. Full Eden Park. Ireland and the Northern Hemisphere teams never give credit for this, but the All Blacks, when they have played and lost in Europe, have been on the back of a long season. Ireland look like they're now on the back of a long season as well, especially if you look at their Māori game. So I just think all the factors were in the favour of the All Blacks. Any team you put out tonight was probably going to win because of all those factors. However, it's the way that they've won here, which has not been great. 6 minutes left for Rob. So Ireland now attacking 5 metres out. It's pretty poor if you're starting to concede late tries like this as well. It's just a lack of discipline. If the All Blacks do open up here. Ireland hot on attack, 5 metres out. 5 minutes left in this game. B. Kingy, I agree with you. Geordie has had a shocker. He's trying to carve out too much distance. instead of just putting the ball out. Penalty and possibly yellow card here. No, he's just going to have a word with Artie. Is it first game jitters from the ABs, asks Peter Lucas. I think it is Ian Foster jitters. Like, there has been this nervous energy with the All Blacks since, well, and including in part the World Cup semi-final. So I just think they haven't really found their feet yet and identity. Looks like Ireland are over the line. Oh, they're calling held up. That's Leicester Flying Anuku holds them up there. Well done to Leicester. And it's 75 minutes, 20 seconds. And the All Blacks are restarting here from their own line. Yeah, good defence from Leicester. Good work. Ireland hot on attack, 35 metres out. Joey Carberry makes a little incision. Gets pulled down. Ireland still attacking. Just going through the phases here. B. Kingy does. Whitelock have the mileage to the World Cup? If he does, he doesn't have many miles left. He's on his... Oh, he hasn't played too badly in this one. I mean... Generally, the All Blacks have been a little bit slow, so I don't put it solely on him, but, you know, he hasn't been spectacular, that's for sure. He just... Bundyaki gets the try. That's try. Look, Ireland not going away. Good on them. Yoshi, just a young 30 on the scoreboard. Scoreboard looks good, but to be honest, it hasn't been a great performance from the All Blacks. I don't know how others feel. I feel like it's been quite a nervous game, which is interesting. I mean, you can say the All Blacks put on 42 points, and they haven't looked great. I don't think they've looked good at all. I don't know what others think. A lot of turnover ball, a lot of tries off counter attacks. I think they've been. You know, there's been areas of the game where set pieces looked average, dominated by the Irish scrum. Decision-making's been poor. Am I just being harsh? What do others think? I would give... If I was to rate this out of 10, or let's just say, you know, A plus is the best and E is a fail, I would give this one probably a B. How do others think? I give the All Blacks a B rating in this. I give the Irish... Oh, it's just under a pass mark, isn't it? So a C. Let's say a C. Be coy, the game proved nothing to me. Me too. We don't know who the best team is. We don't know how this team's playing. We know there's a lot of nervous energy, lacking confidence. So I just come away from this game just thinking, good win. Well, good to get a win, but a lot of red flags. All right, minute and a half left. Ireland's still full of running. They want to finish this on a high by the looks of it. The only way to beat Ireland is to disrupt the breakdown. When the All Blacks started doing that, they started to look the far better team. Horrible line out from the All Blacks. As in just mistimed there defensively. ball disrupted, so Ireland are pushed back here. This looks like the last sort of play of the game. Ireland still hot on attack here. Carberry has the ball. Yeah, Foster's forgotten that for sure, Decoy. I don't think there's anything different in this team that he's selected. Yarko gives the All Blacks an A. Generous. I give the All Blacks a B. There's far too many red flags in this team. Penalty Ireland. 80 minutes on the clock. Game's over. What will they do? Will they try and... Oh, they want to attack here. I missed earlier. It's actually 42-19. Let's update that. So they're rallying around here. Last play of the game. It's 80 minutes plus gone. Ireland have an attacking line out 5 meters out. The All Blacks need to show a bit of backbone here and keep them out. The Irish as well will want to get one up knowing that this is the first game of the series. And we need to keep that in mind, guys. This is the first game of the series. So, line out's taken. 5 meters out. Game clock ticks over 81 minutes. Penalty advantage given. Maybe another card going here as well. Peter Gus will be off if it is. Good hit there by Peter Gus. Ireland want the try. They want the try. Now they're doing this is un-Ireland like, doing one out running. Man's held up. Game over. Oh no, penalty advantage. Still playing the penalty advantage. So Jack Conan made a good run, good incision, but was held up in the end. Good defensive work for the All Blacks. Lester Fainga'anuku involved again. But it was Ireland penalty advantage. Now 82 minutes on the clock. All Blacks playing still one man down. There's LB says the amount of times Ireland have been over the try line should be a concern for the ABs. I 100% agree. There are so many red flags here. And that's why I give this performance for the All Blacks a B. And I give this performance for the Irish probably a C. C plus, let's say. Look, Ireland were expected to lose this game. Everyone was calling it. Too many factors in the All Blacks' favour. But they've showed why they have been one of the best teams in the world lately. Why they beat the All Blacks late last year. And, you know, I would, if I'm an Irish fan, I would like my chances to get... They're going to go over the line here. Are they over again? Held short again. All right, at this stage, you've actually got to call it. The All Blacks defense has been great there at the end. Well done. That's game. Still a penalty advantage, or is this game? What are we doing, ref? Yep, penalty advantage. Look, I don't think this is a confident performance from the All Blacks at all. 42-19 makes it look like a relatively straightforward win, but this is a nervous win for the All Blacks. A confident All Blacks could have blown this game right out. Which is weird. I mean, to say, 23-point win is... There's a lot of red flags in that. Is, you don't often say that, but that's just how I feel. I just feel like the All Blacks haven't played that well. We 84 minutes and we're still going. Irish line out. They want the try before this is over. This is a bit of a last bragging rights as well. This is like whoever gets the bragging rights at the end wins. Good defense from the All Blacks there off the ruck. Really good. And that's turnover ball. Well done, All Blacks. That's a huge statement. At the death there, it was clear Ireland wanted the last word in this game. And the All Blacks defense got the last word in this game. So that's one of those that you're just looking for psychological advantage going into the next game of the series. Game over. All Blacks win 42 points to 19. I'm going to do a quick summary of the game. Just give you my thoughts, and then I'm going to call it, guys. There was a live stream I was going to do for the England-Australia game. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm just going to drink some beer and watch that game away from the live streams. So, in terms of rating for that game, the All Blacks, I give a B. I thought there was a lot of red flags in that game for the All Blacks. It was a nervous start. It was a confident start from the All Blacks. From the Irish. And there was a turning point in the game that looked pretty clear when the Severeich try with the turnover ball, when the All Blacks finally got an opportunity to run away for points like that, that's when they started to look a lot more confident. What they were doing well was disrupting the breakdown in particular and dominating the physical collisions. That led to them getting a lot more ball and able to convert a number of opportunities into turnover ball and able to score tries from long range and in close off turnover ball. So that's the reason that the scoreboard looks the way it does. But to get there, it was a nervous start, as I say. The Irish did exactly what you expect them to do. They're very well drilled. Quick ball retention, able to, run at pace, to attack at pace. They look the better coached and the better drilled team, the Irish. But the All Blacks have better skills individually. And obviously, there's a lot of experience in this All Black team. That being said, I don't think we got a lot of answers in any areas, really. The Scott Barrett thing, Scott Barrett at 6, he was solid, but we expected that, right? So I don't walk away from this thinking, yep, there's more questions answered. I leave this going, that was a nervous start. The All Blacks were always going to win. The Irish showed why they are so dangerous. And a number of tries that the All Blacks were able to score meant that they ran away with it. At the end of the day, All Blacks win 42 points to 19. My man of the match is Ardie Savea. What did other people think? Was he your man of the match? Ireland shouldn't be disheartened by this. I mean, there was a loss to the Māori that was a lot closer, which actually felt like it was a lot more dominant from the Māori than this result, right? 32-17 versus 42-19. I actually left that one thinking the Māori dominated more than the All Blacks did. I don't know how others feel, but that's how I felt. And, there's a lot of nervous energy, a lot of red flags in this All Blacks team. So, end of the day, they get the win. They'll be happy with that. They were always expected to. But if I'm an Irish fan, I would like my chances of coming away with a win on this tour after that game. There are red flags in the All Blacks. Sam Cane was unspectacular. Didn't do much, positively or negatively. And, at the end of the day, the All Blacks got the win. So, 42 points to 19. That's a wrap, guys. I hope you enjoyed the call. I'll be back here for the rest of the games, or at least the next one, game 2. Feel free to join in then. We'll see how we go tonight. I don't want to cover the Australia-England game. I'd rather watch that one, but I may jump on later on for the Springboks fans and do a call during the Springbok game later tonight. I'll likely be up and around for that, so let's see how we go. Thank you for joining in, guys. Really appreciate it. To those that commented, thank you very much. Enjoyed the chat. I hope you enjoyed the game. Hope you enjoyed the result wherever you're tuning in from, and enjoy the rest of the rugby, guys. Talk to you soon.